The Collected Teachings of Luang Por Chaya from the April 29, 2001 talk, The 16 Insight Knowledges. For those who practice Insight Vipassana meditation, there are 16 kinds of insight knowledge that can be attained step by step. They include 1. The knowledge of defining mind and matter. 2. The knowledge of discerning causes. 3. The knowledge of comprehension. 4. The knowledge of rising and falling. 5. The knowledge of falling only. 6. The knowledge of fearfulness. 7. The knowledge of disgusting. 9. The knowledge of recomprehension. 1. The knowledge of recomprehensions. 12. The knowledge of conformity. When you gain the 16 stages of knowledge, you gain enlightenment. You have reached your spiritual goal. I have already talked about the first 4 insight knowledges, right? Let's talk about the rest. 5. The knowledge of falling only. In the knowledge of rising and falling, when you contemplate meditation objects, you see the arising and disappearing of the objects. No matter what you contemplate, you'll just see the arising and disappearing of mind and matter all the time. With improvement of practice, when you reach the knowledge of falling, you just notice the ceasing of mind and matter. It's no longer arising and falling. It's just ceasing. This is the nature of this insight knowledge. Whether you contemplate your abdomen or the nostrils during sitting meditation, it's the same thing. You don't see the arising. Arising is no longer appearing, just vanishing. Particular features, such as the body or the head or hands or legs, 190 just practice, are no longer appearing to you in that moment. Everything is ceasing and vanishing. At that stage, you cannot feel your body. Where is my body? Where is my hand? Where is my head? By keeping to your noting, as usual, you will gain momentum and know that what you are seeing is broken apart. Maybe it's a feeling or a sensation, and it is just broken apart. What you hear fades away, one after another, with no continuation between them. This is seeing things as they truly are. We should see their true nature. It's not the same object or the same mind. It's different. As the vanishing is so quick, you will feel it. When you go somewhere, you will feel that your eyesight is getting poor. Oh, what happened to my eyes? You'll see something, but it's not clear. You'll feel that your eyesight is getting poor. This is the result of not seeing the features of form. If you look outside, you'll see all the houses and trees. But it's not like before. You can't see the form anymore. At this stage of knowledge, your attention is fixed on the cessation. There is no longer arising, just the cessation of both the object of meditation and the contemplating mind, one after another. For example, we contemplate our abdomen. As we say rising, we try to observe the movement from the beginning, through the middle, and to the end. But when you reach the knowledge of falling only, you just see the cessation, not the falling. You just see the disappearing. The arising is no longer apparent to you. 6. By continuously practicing, you will come to know the truth of continuous dissolution that is truly fearful. You'll see that everything in every moment is just disappearing. You'll feel fearful. In this stage, you no longer seem bright in spirit. You're not happy about your meditation, but you still contemplate. These feelings changing means that your insight knowledge is increasing. As it becomes higher, you will see the nature of your meditation object differently, step by step. But you should not be 191. The Collected Teachings of Luang Por Chaya disappointed. Why do I feel like this? Don't be disappointed. It's the nature of this stage of knowledge. This is a sign of progress of insight. When you practice meditation for a month or a few months in a retreat, please remember one thing. Today, you try the best you can. Even if you try hard and you practice all day long, you feel that today my contemplation is not good. By continuing to note all the time, notice that tomorrow is different. If today is not good, tomorrow you may gain another, higher insight knowledge. See? Before, your insight went one step up for one day, and you didn't feel that it was a good contemplation, but the next day you may overcome it and gain the higher stage. If you practice for only 1 week, you won't experience this. But you'll see this if you practice for 1 or 2 or 3 months. We shouldn't be disappointed by this. This is the nature of this insight knowledge. So before you go to the next stage, you'll have a feeling that your contemplation is not good. But really, that's not the case. This means you have reached the knowledge of fearfulness. You see that mind and matter are dissolving incessantly. You just see disappearing, disappearing, disappearing all the time, no matter what you're doing. Even as you practice walking meditation, you say lifting, but you can't see from the beginning to the end anymore. Because your insight is so sharp at that time, it's become ripe. You say lifting, and all you see is the object disappearing. Pushing, you just see the end. And dropping, you just see the end. Disappearing only. So you feel this object is fearful. This is the knowledge of fearfulness. Now you've reached 6th grade. 7. As you're contemplating, you'll find faults in this body and mind. You'll see that they are impermanent, unsatisfactory, and uncontrollable. You'll see that. When you see their characteristics, you will feel that it's not good to have been born in any existence. You won't want 192. Just practice to be reborn again. You won't want to be reborn as a human being or even as an angel. You don't want anything. This is because you see these characteristics all the time. You'll feel that decay, disease, death, and so on are dreadful. Oh, if I have to be reborn again, I'll have to experience these 3 characteristics all over again. So you feel it's dreadful. This is the knowledge of faultiness, the 7th insight knowledge. 8. By contemplating the arising and disappearing of mind and matter, you'll get sick of them. You might see the decaying and decomposing of your own body. You'll be practicing meditation, and you may feel that your body is decaying or decomposing in different parts. As you get sick of this body, your contemplation is associated with disgust, and you become too lazy to notice objects. You don't want to make a mental note or contemplate like before. This is because you are sick of your object. Sometimes you become too lazy to notice it. However, continue noting. In your mind, you may have the feeling that you don't want to contemplate it, but you still do it. You may think, I'm lazy, I'll just go to sleep. Keep contemplating. This is similar to a person who walks on a dirty road. He may feel disgusted with every step, because the road is so dirty. But he cannot stop going. He has to continue walking in order to pass this point. This is the knowledge of disgusting. 9. By continuing to practice, the desire to be liberated from physical and mental processes arises. You want to be free from mind and matter. Oh, I don't want this anymore. You don't want to be reborn again. And you want to escape from the processes of mind and matter. Since we were young until now, there's been just mind and body processes arising and disappearing all the time. Now you want to be free from these processes of mind and matter. This is said to be knowledge of desire for freedom. Freedom from the processes of mind and matter. 193. The collected teachings of Luang Por Chaya. After some time in this stage, you will feel various painful feelings in your body. Intense pain may even arise. It's nothing special, for you can easily contemplate the painful feelings, and they will cease under the power of your concentration and insight knowledge. In this stage, you may find that long-term diseases or troublesome issues with your body have disappeared too. Most meditators will experience this if they reach this stage and practice with it for more than 3 weeks. Some people may have had a doctor tell them that they need to operate on something. But before the operation, the meditator may go to practice intensive meditation for a month or 2. They'll see the doctor before the procedure, and the doctor may find that the issue has been resolved. The doctor may ask, "What kind of medicine did you take?" The meditator could tell them, "I didn't take any, I went to practice meditation." So in this stage of knowledge, your old diseases can be cured. This is incredible, right? These problems won't give you trouble for the rest of your life. You don't have to worry about that disease anymore. It was just temporary. Even though painful feelings still arise at this stage, they are less intense than what you've experienced in the past. They don't become unbearable, as they don't exist long after you contemplate them. What used to take you 1 or 2 hours to deal with now disappears after you contemplate it once or twice. This is because your concentration and insight knowledge is so strong. When you were a beginner, your concentration wasn't so strong, so you had to deal with pain for many days. In this stage, you may change your posture often. While sitting in meditation, you may think that you will do better if you practice walking meditation. And then, you'll practice walking meditation, and before long think that you should resume sitting meditation. This is the nature of this insight knowledge. After you've sat back down, 194, just practice you'll want to go to another place, or maybe lie down. Maybe I'll practice lying down meditation. You cannot remain in one particular position for long. You'll contemplate this all the time. You're not satisfied with your contemplation. Even if it's good, you'll think it's not good enough. You may become restless and wonder why your concentration is weak after practicing intensive meditation for a month or two. But you should not despair. All of this happens because you have come to realize the true nature of this formation, which manifests as a mass of suffering. However, you should try to adhere to one posture. When you know this is just the nature of this insight knowledge, you should try to maintain your position. Soon after, you will find that you're comfortable in that posture. You'll be past this point in maybe just a day or two. And then, your mind will gradually become composed and bright. 10. Now your feeling will change. In order to escape from this mass of suffering, you'll reflect on transiency, sorrowfulness, and the absence of self in conditioned things. You'll reflect on these 3 characteristics of mind and body. Because you want to be free from these processes of mind and matter, you have reached the knowledge of recomprehension. Whereas for the first few stages of insight knowledge we had to deal with our meditation object for many days before it progressed, we can progress from the knowledge of falling to the knowledge of recomprehension in just a few days, or even one day, or even during a single period of sitting meditation. Please remember this. 1. After that, you will reach the knowledge of equanimity of formations. This is a very important insight knowledge. When you reach this knowledge, your noticing runs smoothly, as if no effort is required. And impermanence, unsatisfactoriness, and uncontrollability are becoming evident without any reflection. At first, you had to think 195, the collected teachings of Luang Por Chaya about these characteristics, but now they are evident without any reflection. Also, the objects being noticed become sparse. This means that, although you used to contemplate your body and feel many sensations or pains or vibrations arising in the body, they now become sparse and very slow. Maybe just one sensation will slowly arise, and you can notice it easily and calmly. For example, if you contemplate your abdominal movement, you won't feel any other sensations, just the abdomen moving slowly. It's very easy and comfortable. The object of meditation gradually becomes more and more subtle. You will be suffused with serenity. If you contemplate your abdominal movement, it will feel very tiny, just moving a little bit. And as the object is very subtle, your mind also becomes very subtle. You won't be concerned with the outside world at that time. You just observe this very subtle object. You may even feel that your body disappears. Sometimes you'll feel like, where's my head? Where's my body? It's as if your body has disappeared. Because it's so subtle, you'll just stay with this very subtle object. And if you experience this, you'll know, oh, I've reached the knowledge of equanimity of formations. Equanimity means you don't care about sankhara or formations. You just contemplate arising and disappearing. Sometimes you might also see brightness, like a clear sky. Before, when you reach the knowledge of rising and falling, you may have seen this and felt very happy and proud of yourself. But now, These mind experiences don't influence you excessively. You are able to contemplate desirable and undesirable objects without pleasure or displeasure, liking or disliking, because there is equanimity. Whatever you see, it's equal. Your insight knowledge is so high that you don't care if it's desirable. There's just equanimity, a neutral feeling. 196. Just practice. As you are free from painful feelings, you can sit and contemplate for a few hours without moving. Why can you sit so long? Because there are no painful feelings and no features to your body. There is just the knowing mind. You can now spend your time tirelessly. You may intend to sit for just 15 or 30 minutes, but it may actually go on for 2 or 3 hours. This stage of insight knowledge is said to be the top of mundane insight knowledge. When this insight knowledge becomes more mature, sometimes the object you're noting arises quickly. You may then become anxious. What happened to me? However, you should notice the anxiety. If you don't contemplate it, it becomes a problem. You cannot reach higher. You may look forward to the progress of your insight. If you do not note this anticipation, you may think that the goal is very near. Oh, maybe I will gain enlightenment soon. Don't think about that. If you do, just make a mental note, otherwise it will disturb you. By contemplating with great energy, some people may think, my goal is very near, so I will try my best. Conversely, their noticing becomes lax and retrogressive. Because of what? Because of the anxiety. If sufficient strength of insight has not been achieved or developed, concentration becomes slack. In this case, you may progress higher and then fall back again, several times. This is why you should contemplate steadily whatever arises and balance your faith and wisdom, energy and concentration with strong mindfulness. 12. As the 5 faculties are developed in an even manner, you will soon experience the cessation of formation, which means you will gain enlightenment and realize the supreme bliss. It takes time for this insight knowledge. You will know when you reach this knowledge. You will know what stage you have experienced. You'll know for yourself. And now, you are said to have reached your spiritual destination, which is the first stage of enlightenment, or stream entry. 197. The collected teachings of Luang Por Chaya, during the realization of the 4 noble truths, conformity, a changing lineage, path consciousness, and 2 or 3 fruit consciousnesses arise. It then subsides. The duration of the realization is just an instant of noting. From the knowledge of equanimity of formations until we reach the realization of the 4 noble truths, for that instant of noting, there is the defunctioning of eye, ear, nose, tongue, body, and mind. They stop for an instant. Every 6 sense function stops. We don't see or hear anything. The function stops for an instant of noting. So now we're talking about the process of Magga for the 12 stages of insight, right? The 12th stage of insight is the knowledge of conformity. If you start it, it can't stop. After you pass this knowledge, the remaining knowledges come together in one thought process. Your experience is in conformity with the lower stages of insight, which is the previous 9 kinds of insight, and with the higher stages of insight, or subsequent insight. We call this knowledge of conformity. It is conforming with the previous 9 knowledges, starting from the knowledge of comprehension. What does this mean? Knowledge of defining mind and matter, and knowledge of discerning cause, are not really vipassana knowledge yet, so we start to count from the knowledge of comprehension. So your experience is in conformity with the lower stages of insight, the previous 9 stages, and with the higher stages, which means from knowledge of changing lineage to the knowledge of reviewing. We call this the knowledge of conformity. It conforms to the 37 factors of enlightenment. The 37 factors of enlightenment have been fulfilled in that moment. You experience and develop all of them. This is why it's called the knowledge of conformity. 13. From the second part of the knowledge of rising and falling to the knowledge of conformity belongs to purity of vision discerning the method. This is the 6th purification. The knowledge of change of lineage means that at that moment the meditator changes his worldly lineage, and 198 just practice enters the lineage of the noble ones. They are no longer a worldling. They become a noble person. This knowledge of changed lineage can take nibbana, or supreme bliss, as its object. This knowledge of changed lineage does not belong to the sixth or seventh purifications. It is one of the insight knowledges. There is insight leading to emergence. Emergence means emergence from woeful states. Since you have reached this point, you will never again be reborn in a woeful state. There are no signs of conditioned things, no sankhara. Nibbana is the object. 14. The knowledge of path fully understands the truth of suffering. We've understood suffering since the knowledge of comprehension, but not fully. Now we understand fully. The knowledge eradicates the cause of suffering, which is craving. It realizes the cessation of suffering, which is supreme bliss. And at that moment, there is the realization of the noble truths and the development of the way leading to the cessation of suffering. The Noble Eightfold Path is fully developed. 1.5. The knowledge of fruit is the consequence of Magga. By following the path, and as a fruit of the path, we experience peace. This is due to the cessation of mental defilements. Whoever realizes Nibbana can see this. In that moment, there are no mental defilements. They feel very peaceful. The realization of the Four Noble Truths belongs to the purity of knowledge and vision with regard to intuitive wisdom, the seventh purification. This stage of purification is free from mental defilement as a result of the realization of the Four Noble Truths. After path consciousness arises and disappears, 2 or 3 thought moments of fruit consciousness immediately follow. For the average person, there will be only 2 moments of fruit consciousness. For keen insight, there will be 3 thought moments of fruit consciousness arising. We've talked before about the virtues of the doctrine, akaliko, which means that it is effective immediately. After Mahayana arises and disappears, phala consciousness arises as an effect. That's why we call it akaliko, or immediately effective. 199. The collected teachings of Luang Por Chaya 1.6. Soon after, the knowledge of reviewing arises. What is it that meditators are reviewing? A. They review the path. B. They review the fruit. C. They review nibbana. D. They review defilements eradicated. For example, a Sotapanna has eradicated wrong view and doubt. And E. They either review or do not review any defilements that may be remaining. After gaining enlightenment, every noble person will review these 4 or 5 things. Generally speaking, for all noble ones, there are 19 reflecting or reviewing knowledges. For the stream enterer, there are 5. For the once-returner, there are 5. For the non-returner, there are 5. And arahants reflect only on the first 4 because they have no remaining defilements. A non-returner who gains arahantship will review magga, phala, nibbana, and the defilements eradicated. Then, no more remaining. So there are 19 reflective knowledges. Whoever gains the first stage of enlightenment is called a Sotapanna. According to the etymology, the word is broken down into sota and apana. Sota means the stream leading to nibbana. What is the stream? The Noble Eightfold Path. Apana means one who has entered or reached for the first time. Therefore, Sotapanna means stream enterer, or one who has reached the stream that leads to nibbana for the first time. From then on, the person will definitely one day reach nibbana, because they have reached the stream that leads there. If we say Sotapattimagga, the first path consciousness, we have 3 words, Sota, Apati, and Magga. Sota means stream, Apati means entering for the first time, and Magga means killing, which refers to killing passion and going to nibbana. Magga itself can be broken down into Ma, which means killing passion, and Gga, which means going to nibbana. There are 3 categories of stream enterers. A given category will depend on their insight knowledge. Here are the categories. 200. Just practice. A. One who will be reborn in the sensual blissful plane at most 7 more times. He will then become an arahant and enter nibbana. B. one who will be reborn in a noble family 2 to 6 more times before becoming an arahant and entering Nibbana, and C, one who will be reborn only 1 more time and then attain arahantship and enter Nibbana. Why are they different? It depends on their insight. If it's weak, maybe there will be 7 more births. If it's medium, there may be 2, or up to 6 times. And there's only 1 time for those who have keen insight. On the attaining of this first stage of sainthood and becoming a stream enterer, the person will eradicate wrong view of personality, or unchanging entity, wrongful practices and habits, and doubt. There is no longer doubt. Doubt here refers to doubt about the supreme enlightenment of the Buddha, about his doctrine, about his noble disciples, about the disciplinary rules, about past and future lives, and about the law of dependent origination. There will no longer be doubt about these things. And as the person gains confidence in the supreme enlightenment of the Buddha, he will not violate any of the 5 precepts for any reason. There will be no killing, no stealing, no sexual misconduct, no lying, and no drinking alcohol. Accordingly, that person is free from the round of reborn in the unhappy life of lower existences. Therefore, everyone should endeavor to reach this first stage of enlightenment at minimum. We have done a lot of evil in previous lives. This evil action will give results, but whoever reaches this first stage of sainthood will no more be reborn in a woeful state. This is one reason why we practice meditation. It's not just for peace of mind. There are 3 ways of emancipation. They are: A, devoid of soul. This means emancipation gained by meditating on soullessness. In this context, when you practice meditation, you contemplate mind and matter as selflessness, and then you gain enlightenment right away. B, free from signs of permanence. This means emancipation gained by meditating on signlessness. In this context, you contemplate impermanence of mind and body. You see impermanence and gain enlightenment right away. And 201, the collected teachings of Luang Por Chaya, C, free from hankering or craving. This is emancipation gained by meditation on unhankering. This means you contemplate mind and body as suffering, and then you gain enlightenment. After you know the 3 ways of emancipation, there are 3 doors before you leading to enlightenment. By contemplating anatta, or absence of self, it becomes an avenue of emancipation. Then, immediately path consciousness arises and you gain enlightenment. By contemplating anicca, you gain enlightenment at once. This is said to be the door of signless emancipation. You contemplate impermanence and gain enlightenment right away. And by contemplation of sorrowfulness or fearfulness, you gain enlightenment right away. It's called the door or avenue of desireless emancipation. You contemplate suffering, right? According to the commentaries, someone who has faith as a dominant faculty, remember, we have 5 faculties, right? Should contemplate anicca. So we can guess about our temperament. Then just see anicca. If you have concentration as a dominant faculty, you should contemplate sorrowfulness. And if you have wisdom as your dominant faculty, you should contemplate anatta. Whoever has an ardent wish to attain the higher paths, for example, after you gain the first stage of sainthood, you want to get to a higher stage, should make a determination. During this period of my meditation, I do not wish to experience the fruit knowledge that I have attained. May I reach to a higher path I have not yet attained. If you still wish to enter the fruit, you cannot reach higher, so you make a determination that you don't wish to experience and why longer what you've attained. You want to go higher. By continuing to practice and making this determination, one day you can progress to the 2nd stage of enlightenment, a once-returner, step by step. Sakadagami, or once-returner, means one who returns to the human realm only once. This is possible. There are 5 kinds of once-returners. A, those who attain this stage in this human realm and attain Nibbana here as well. They keep practicing and reach Arahant. B, those who attain this stage in this human realm and attain Nibbana in the celestial realm. This means they attain the 2nd stage in this life And when they die and are 202 just practice reborn as an angel, they keep practicing meditation and gain arahant in that realm. C. Those attain this stage in the celestial realm, and they keep practicing meditation and become an arahant in that realm. D. Those who attain this stage in the celestial realm and attain nibbana in this human realm. This means that they gain the second stage in heaven, and then when they die and are reborn as a human being, they keep practicing meditation as a human and became an arahant in the human world. And E. Those who attain this stage in this human realm, who will be reborn in a celestial realm, and who will then be reborn in this human realm, where they will gain nibbana. This means that in this life they become a once returner, then they die and are reborn as an angel. After they die again, they are reborn as a human being, who then practices meditation and gains arahant. Those who reach the second stage of sainthood, or become a once returner, can only weaken sense desire and evil. They can't uproot it yet. But this means that sense desire and evil are weaker than when they were a stream enterer. By continuing to practice and making a determination, a once returner can attain the third stage of sainthood and become a non-returner. A non-returner is called an anagami, which means one who will not return to this sense sphere as a human being or as an angel. If you reach this stage of enlightenment, you cannot be reborn as a human or angel, because there is no more desire. With no more desire, you can't be reborn in this sense sphere. These beings are born in the pure abodes. These are pure because no war LD-lings can live there, only non-returners and arahants. There are 5 classes of non-returners. A. Those who attain parinibbana. This is a very polite word that means to pass away, after spending half of a lifespan in the pure abodes. B. Those who attain parinibbana, having lived more than half a lifespan in the pure abodes. For example, if their lifespan 203, the collected teachings of Luang Por Chaya, is 1,000 eons, they will live over 500 eons and then attain parinibbana. C. Those who attain parinibbana without exertion. They attain the 4th stage of enlightenment very easily. D. Those who attain parinibbana with exertion. It is very difficult for them to gain the 4th stage of enlightenment. And E. Those who attain parinibbana after they pass beyond one Brahma realm to another higher Brahma realm. There are 5 pure abodes. So for example, a being attains anagami in the first Brahma realm, and after they die they go to the second realm and gain nibbana. As an anagami has completely uprooted desire for sensual gratification, he will not return to be reborn in this human world, or the celestial realm. Also, a layperson who becomes a non-returner will live a celibate life, and there will be no more anger at all. Stream enterers, once returners and non-returners, are called sikha, because they have yet to finish their training. Arahants, on the other hand, are called asika, because they no longer have any training to finish. By continuing to practice meditation, a non-returner can finally reach the 4th stage of sainthood and become an arahant. In English, we might translate this word as worthy one. With an arahant, all mental defilements have been destroyed, and he will not be reborn again. An arahant realizes that what was to be accomplished has been accomplished. This is the last life. There will be no more rebirth, and this is the end of the cycle of rebirth and death. An arahant deserves to receive the highest offerings in the world. That's why we call an arahant a worthy one. There are no more mental defilements, and there will be no more rebirth in any existence. The spiritual practice is finished. There's no longer ignorance or desire, and what an arahant does entails only functional consciousness. That is, it no longer gives results. And when an arahant enters parinibbana, there's no more consciousness. A student interrupts with a question. Q. What's the difference between an anagami's parinibbana and an arahant's parinibbana? 204. Just practice. No, parinibbana is passing away. An anagami still has to be reborn in the pure abodes, and that's where they continue to practice meditation and gain the 4th stage of enlightenment and become an arahant. Now I'd like to talk about attainment. If their concentration and insight knowledges are mature or gain momentum, a noble one can attain the fruition attainment, which is the knowledge of cessation of formations. If the power of concentration is keen and firm, then such knowledge can repeat itself frequently. You can get into fruit attainment very often. Even one with just enough concentration will have no awareness of mental or physical processes during the experience of the fruition knowledge. There will be just phala, which takes nibbana as its object. If one's concentration is weak, then entry to fruition knowledge is slow. You cannot get into it quickly. And even if it comes, it does not last long. Maybe a few minutes. This fruition attainment is common to all noble ones in accordance with their respective fruits. The cessation attainment, or Nirodha Samapatti, is only possible for non-returners and arahants who have developed the rupajhanas and arupajhanas. A student interrupts with another question. Q. So a non-returner or an arahant who hasn't attained all of those levels of jhana can't attain the cessation attainment? No, they cannot. Even for an arahant, if he has attained only rupajhana, it's not enough. All of the rupajhanas and arupajhanas must be attained, and then this strongest concentration can be attained. So in this case, a non-returner or an arahant who would like to attain the supreme cessation should first enter into the first absorption, or jhana. He should then emerge from this jhana and contemplate the factors of jhana in terms of the transiency, sorrowfulness, and soullessness of conditioned things found in that particular jhana. Continuing in the same way, he should proceed through each of the absorptions to the stage of nothingness. He should then emerge from it and make a resolution. A. That his 4 requisites not be destroyed. 205. The collected teachings of Luang Por Chaya. That he should arise in time when his services are needed by the community of monks. C. That he should arise from the cessation attainment in time when he is summoned by the Buddha. This comes from the time of the Buddha, but isn't necessary nowadays. And D. Whether or not he will live for more than 7 days from that moment. This is because if he attains for 7 days, he can't do it if he's going to die in 5 days. After that, he attains to the stage of neither perception nor non-perception, the highest arupajhana. 2 jhana thought moments will arise, then his stream of consciousness temporarily ceases to flow, normally for 7 days. There will be no consciousness, no mental factors, and no moving, but vitality persists. It's not like the person dies. This is said to be attainment of the supreme cessation, Nirodha Samapatti. Q. He's no longer taking nibbana as the object, right? No, because there's no mind. After 7 days he emerges from this stage. Fruit consciousness arises for a non-returner, and fruit consciousness arises for an arahant, and then normal thought processes arise as usual. So those who wish to enjoy the essence of practice in this dispensation, or enjoy the supreme bliss by your own direct knowledge, should develop sublime tranquility and insight vipassana meditation. Developing only vipassana is not enough. If you would like to experience Nirodha Samapatti, you need to do tranquility and insight vipassana meditation. Q. So after you go through the first level of jhana, then you go to another level? Yes, you enter the first jhana, then you emerge and contemplate the factors of that jhana. Then you enter the next jhana, emerge and contemplate the factors of that jhana. From there, you enter the next level of jhana, emerge and contemplate the factors of that jhana, and so on. You're doing one after another, until the third stage of the formless 206, just practice absorption, at which point you make determination, 2 thought moments arise, and then you enter into the supreme cessation attainment. May all of you be able to enjoy the supreme bliss through your practice in this very life. Are there any questions? Q. Can we carry these knowledges to future lives? If you attain enlightenment, you don't have to start again. From that state you can just go higher. But if you're still a worldling, you have to start again. But even if you have to start again, if you used to practice in this present life, in a future life you may only need to sit for one time, or maybe one day, before you can reach the same level. We call this paramai. We have already accumulated a lot of paramai. Sometimes someone will practice meditation for a month and see nothing, whereas someone else will practice for just a few days and will see results. Why is it different? Because of our previous lives. Q. You were talking earlier about diseases miraculously going away if we meditate for 3 weeks. Did I understand that correctly? I was giving you an example of what can sometimes happen when we practice meditation. I've had many people come to practice meditation and say, oh, I'm having surgery next month, maybe I will die, so I've come to practice meditation. So they'll come for 2 to 3 weeks and then see their doctor before their surgery and be told that the disease is gone. In the context of what I was saying, it means that if you have a painful feeling arise, at that stage you have to be patient. Your old diseases will be cured. Even the first part, before you reach the knowledge of rising and falling, can also cure your diseases. But the second part, for sure. How long it takes will depend. Q. You mentioned about the person arising if the Buddha summoned them while they were in meditation. Does this mean the Buddha is still alive as the Buddha? 207. The collected teachings of Luang Por Chaya number, making that resolution was necessary in the Buddha's lifetime. You don't have to make that determination anymore, just the other 3. Q. Parami means perfection, right? Yes, virtue perfection. Q. If a Sotapanna enters Nibbana, is it the same experience as for an Arahant? The same. Q. Okay, so the difference is the mental defilements that are extinguished after they've come out of it? Yes, but Nibbana is the same. Q. Going back to the knowledge of equanimity about formations, is that when someone becomes a stream enterer? After you pass this knowledge, you become a stream enterer. Also, for a person to become a bodhisattva, they must practice meditation until they reach the stage of knowledge of equanimity of formations. After that, you cannot stop. This is the top of mundane insight knowledge. Q. When a person experiences that, is it a neutral feeling? Mostly. There will be some pleasant or unpleasant feelings, but they just contemplate the impermanency. Q. When they experience the bliss of phala, is it still Vedana? No, it's supreme bliss, not normal bliss. This is because there's no mental defilement. This phala attainment is supreme bliss. You can't explain it to others. Q. If you're in meditation and you experience a lot of pleasant sensations, it's still mundane. Is neutrality higher than pleasant feelings? 208. Just practice. Oh, sure. Even with the first jhana, there's still initial application, sustained application, rapture, happiness, and so on. But when you attain the 5th jhana, there's just equanimity and one-pointedness. And so on through the jhanas. When you have a higher level, it's like a person having higher thoughts, with a mind that's become balanced. It's not pleasant or unpleasant, mostly neutral. 209.